Try to a channel of light fluid. We're back with Arches, briefly anyway. And you might be wondering why wasn't there the usual opening. Well, this is just something for the patrons. This is just for you. I may re-edit it in a couple of months or so, put it up to the general public, we'll see. But it's just for you. Well, I'm one of the person who's very highly involved in Arches. I'm going to send a link to, but it's for you, so I'm not going to bother with the full stuff. This is, as they're called, Vessels. It's a Devon short story, which you may have read. I basically need to play the whole of Arches and you have access to it. So let's do this. Honey, whatever happens, just play dead, okay? No matter what. No! Cameron? March 2024. Echoes aren't hard to find. They're everywhere. But some are worse than others, and Cameron knows which ones need taking care of the most. Devon! A flash of light, one I've gotten used to seeing, explodes behind my eyelids, along with an explosion of pain in my face and head. Devon! Shit! A dull, blunt thud resonates through my stomach, and a familiar ache seems to hollow out completely, sending all the breath I have held inside blasting out in a wheezing groan. Then the familiar thump of bone on pavement, as my legs seem to turn to jelly, and I go down to my knees, head bowed, gasping for breath. Next time you're dead, you fucking creep! Watch out! One of my paws, folded into my stomach as I grip at my gut, reaches for the grip of my pistol strapped to my waist. I look up and see a scruffy-looking raccoon, the mask of its facial fur barely visible in the soft yellow glow of the streetlights. He's got his foot drawn back, looks about ready to kick me again when I'm down, where his buddy, a squat, muscular rat, probably the guy who hit me last, holds him back. Hey, sirens, man, let's go. The raccoon looks back down at me, almost like he thinks I'm the one that called the cops. But he moves on, spitting on me as he goes. I lower my head even more as I hear them scurry off toward an area behind the warehouse they've been beating me up against. Now I'm left alone in the patchy little parking lot, the already faint sirens fading away into silence. Well, I'm physically alone. Are you okay, Devon? Cameron's voice comes through again, and I can tell he's trying to hold back from sounding panicked. Oh, I'm fine, babe. Don't worry. Just need a minute. I send him reassuring thoughts, even while my face comes to rest on the rough gravel and asphalt of the lot, feeling myself drool into it. Cameron goes quiet after that, realizing there's not much he can do except wait. A few minutes later, I grunt to make my way to my feet before looking back one last time. The men are already left in their car, the sounds of the roaring engine fading into the night. The warehouse, though, sits still and silent, gently illuminated by the surrounding streetlights. From one of the top windows, I see it. Probably standing on the grated metal flooring, I see it watching me with its red, glowing eyes. The scruffy raccoon's punch got me good, right over the left eye. I can already feel it starting to swell close, and I head for the medicine cabinet. I swallow down 4 ibuprofen and a Tylenol for the throbbing ache that's already established itself firmly in my brain. You're going to want to eat something with that, Dev. Cameron's feelings of gentle reproach are barely contained under the veil he's trying to hide them under, and he finally blurts out his concern. He's right, though, and even though the hollow ache in my gut makes me not want to even think about food right now, I grab a piece of bread and force it down in a few bites. Veil. Another term we've come up with to describe something we don't understand. In this case, it's just a sense or feeling we both get when hiding thoughts or feelings from the other. It's like a mental shield, always up and rigid, but ready to come down if you let it. It sounds bad, but when someone's living in your head 24/7, you need some privacy, and so we automatically hide behind our veils most of the time. It's not like I prefer silence, though. Cameron's thought voice is quiet and gentle, but especially now that he's trying not to upset me, which he shouldn't have to be doing. I'd fucked up bad this time. Caught and got my ass kicked. I'd been staking that spot out for weeks, Cameron having noticed an echo in the upper windows of a random warehouse in the city's industrial park district. One that was, for whatever reason, really strong. From what I was able to gather, they would use it as a sort of something. Something definitely bad, because the few times I got in close to the warehouse I'd heard faint, distant screaming. I gathered enough to know for sure it's not organised crime or gang related. It's something much more strange and sinister, as it always is when it comes to echoes. I actually wasn't able to gather much except that the rat was the main source, and the one that needed to be dealt with somehow. Not that it matters now. After catching me, they'll definitely be moving their base of operations. Swelling is really bad, Tevin. Maybe you should try putting some ice on it. The last sentence is posed as a question again, apparently worried about how I'll react. Yeah, I know. I grab an ice bag pack from the cabinet and open the freezer for pouring several ice chunks in it. You know, I'm not mad, Cameron. You are. The tone in his voice says it all. I put the cold compress on my left eye, sighing loudly. Not at you. So why are you so upset? The entire situation, how stupid it is. I can feel how you feel, no matter how many barriers I put up. You rub off on me and I can't help it. I wince my eyes closed, thinking about all the times Cameron's described what it's like being stuck in my head. How, when I get gloomy, so does everything around him. Something else to feel like a complete jackass about. Yeah, well, I can't always control how you feel, I know. That's why I'm trying to hold off. I'm sorry. No, I mean... I huff loudly in frustration. I honestly wish I could be happier for you, so you're more comfortable living up there. It's silent for a few moments. Moments I wish weren't silent because I know what Cam's thinking about. It could be, if you give up on this, whatever the hell this is. I feel a flash of annoyance, and this time it is directed at Cameron. This is helping other people not have to go through what we went through, Cameron. This is stopping years-long cycles of pain and suffering. That's what the hell this is. Haven't we suffered enough? Maybe... Who else is in this position that can do what you can do? I'm not sure we're making much of a difference. We clearly don't know what the fuck we're doing, Dev. My heart sinks, realising how much Cam might not actually want to do this. The one thing that's kept me going the past 4 years. You're the one suggested this, you know. I say it in my head, the way I do when we're in public, when I just don't want to say it out loud. I know, but I didn't realise it'd become so dangerous. If things did get physical, we'd just move on. But I didn't realise you'd... Cameron searches for the right words. When you set your mind on something, it's hard to get you to change it. That's dangerous and stupid. And that fucking gun you have strapped to your hip all the time doesn't help. I need protection. Of course you do. What if they saw it? What if you actually do have to pull it out? What then, Devon? Then I have to, Cameron. I look down at my phone. Arturo. Shit. Honey, maybe just ignore it for now. We need to talk. He'll understand. We planned this call ahead for like 3 days. I can't just ignore it. But you can. He'll understand, honey. I've already made up my mind and pick up. Honey. He doesn't use pet names that much. When he does, I know he's really concerned and upset. His quiet, meek objection almost makes me stop. I have to. The almost physical pull of two people who are very important to me, stretching me in opposite directions. Maybe sensing my rising frustration and stress, Cameron backs away in my mind, the way he does whenever I need privacy. It's another level to the veil barrier. The feeling is similar to what it would have felt like if he just left the room. I put the phone up to my muzzle, wincing as it presses against my bruising face. Hey man, what's up? I quickly make a final aside to Cameron before Artie responds. After this, son, I promise we'll talk more. Cameron doesn't respond, but I know he hears me. Then Arturo's cheerful, slightly accented voice comes through the speaker. Oh, how's it going, man? I press my index and thumb pads my right paw hard against my brows, trying to tame the ache that still seems to echo through my head. I'm doing okay, all things considered. Jesus Christ. Apparently hasn't completely left the room. I ignore Cameron for now. Most of my focus is on trying to sound as okay as I just told Arturo I was. I hope those things aren't too terrible. It sounds pretty awful. I can sense what he's implying with those words. It probably sounds like I've been crying with my swollen nose and raspy voice. 4 years removed from Echo, and he still knows that I'm struggling. Even Arturo seems to have moved on better than I have, after taking a bullet to the back of his head. Sometimes I can't even tell it's happened. Sometimes I almost forget. But something always reminds me, sooner or later. I know Artie never forgets. How could he? But I can't read minds like Cameron. No, not too bad. The silence that follows is an awkward one, which isn't normal when Artie is involved. The silence part, I mean. But it feels like he's wanting to say something to me that he's nervous about. You okay? I feel a jolt of worry and concern. Last Artie and I talked, he mentioned that things were a bit strange with him and Maria, mainly because he was having a hard time trying to take care of her the way that he used to. If they're going to split up, I don't know what Arturo's going to do. I'd offer him to live here, of course, but that would make things difficult between me and Cameron, for a ton of different reasons. Yeah, I'm okay, yeah. Do you need a place to stay? Arturo laughs, and the release of tension makes me feel a little bit better. No, me and Maria are doing all right now. It's just a few weeks ago that things got a bit hard, since we're both going through our own shit at the same time. Yeah, that sounds miserable. You just need someone to talk to right now. Yeah, that, but it's about me. I furrow my brows at that, wondering how Cameron would know that with Arturo being so far away. Maybe a vision or something. He's right, though, as he usually is. I've had something. The stuttering becomes more pronounced, which happens when he's flustered or emotional. I stand more upright, muffling the grunt that comes from my mouth as my sore stomach muscles tense up. Hey dude, it's all good. Tell me what's on your mind, no matter what it is, okay? That seems to calm him down a bit and he takes a deep breath. How are you doing with being alone? I let out a hollow fake laugh that falls flat. Yeah. I take a deep, full breath, again wincing at the dull ache in the centre of my body. I'm managing. You, ever thought of seeing people? If Cameron's listening in, he doesn't say anything. No, not yet. It's quiet for a while. Just as I'm about to talk about how work's got me too busy to date right now, I hear something that makes me freeze. Something's been bothering me a lot lately. It's about Cam. I'm so sorry. And the words dissolve away into sobs. Shit. Shit. I feel a pang of frustration followed by even more guilt. In the past, I'd jump at opportunities like this to be there for people that might need me. I'm just not as good at it as I used to be. Cameron, Arturo, my parents, my work colleagues, they can all tell. In fact, Mom was the last person encouraging me to start going out again, even saying the gay scene is better out in Fort Allen, and maybe just come back home, which would make me laugh and want to cry at the same time. I feel Cameron's presence return, though briefly. You're doing good, Devon. You know that. I press the speaker close in my ear. Hey, dude, what's wrong? Through itching sobs and stutters, Arturo talks about the last time he heard Cameron's voice, about how he heard him begging Brian not to do whatever it was he was doing. Sometimes I wonder if I'd done something he might have been able to get away or something. How slow because a gunshot wound. Maybe he could have... I don't know. I'm sorry. This is something I hadn't heard about before. In the back of my mind, I wonder why Arturo would tell me this. Feelings, smells, thoughts, tastes, everything from Echo comes back, reminding me of being trapped in that van while it was all happening. While Artie and Cam have been hurt in ways that can never be fixed or undone. I feel my heart rate rise, my breath become heavier as adrenaline starts coursing through my body. Cameron, still there for me even though he made a point of leaving earlier, sends my confused mix of anger, grief, and guilt for feeling this way when Arturo is trying to open up to me. It's okay, it's over, I'm fine. It would have gotten us both killed if he tried anything. I just can't help feeling awful about it. They lost a guy you were that close to. I swallow hard, mentally willing my voice to stay steady before I start talking again. Don't worry about me, Artie, and try not to blame yourself for any of that. I'm the one that asked you to come, remember? This shouldn't have ever happened in the first place, and I'm sorry. Artie laughs softly through his tears. That's word for word what I expect you to say. It's just, you seem distant lately, like the past year. We used to talk all the time. As Artie goes on about how I used to be, I feel a surprising urge to just tell him about what's happening, about how Cameron is still with me, and... No! The thought is strong and wavering, and overwhelms my own mind to the point I lose my train of thought. It's happened before, but not like this. It makes me wonder how strong his own thoughts actually are, if maybe he could completely take over if he wanted. Either way, I can't tell Artie after a message as powerful as that, so I settle for something more vague. Listen, man, all I can say is that something's going on, but I'm not ready to talk about it just yet. I promise I'll tell you someday, alright? I'm surprised by how relieved Artie sounds to hear that. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Take your time, man. Sorry for unloading like that about what happened in that town. I won't bring it up again. I just needed... I don't know. I get it. If you need to talk again, I'm here for you. Same. I was actually thinking maybe we could meet up again. Maybe go off-road and even try some rock crawling in your Jeep. That makes me smile. That despite what happened to him, he still wanted to do shit that we used to. Shit that could get him killed. But if it makes him happy, we should. Maybe over the weekend. I feel a slight pang of jealousy, and maybe even some resentment, and it takes me by complete surprise. Sweet. It might have to be the weekend after, since Maria have a date trip weekend thing going on. I'm confused and then shocked when I realise those feelings came from Cameron. It takes a good few seconds so I can get my thoughts straight again. The weekend after? Well, sounds good to me. We talk a little bit more, but Cameron's simmering irritation becomes too much to ignore, and after a while I make an excuse about needing to prepare dinner before hanging up. It's partially true. I really only use the microwave these days. I can at least be happy knowing Arturo is sounding way better than when we first started talking. Cameron stays silent as I actually do start to make my food, an appetizing plastic bowl of lightly seasoned frozen vegetables. I'm still baffled at Cam's strange reaction when I was on the phone with Artie, but I know to wait for him to gather his thoughts before trying to talk to him. I subtly project the feeling of me being tired, hoping he might make the coyote take some pity on me with whatever it is that's pissing him off. He's keeping it tightly guarded, though. As I open the packaging on the bowl, I think I hear something in the house. My ears perk up for any sound, any movement. No one's here, Devon. Just being a little cautious is all. Nothing wrong with that. Not usually, but paranoia can drive anyone insane. I poke some holes in the plastic wrap to vent the bowl before throwing it in the microwave and starting it. I don't have much of an appetite. My gut's still feeling queasy after getting beaten up. I gently feel around my face with a paw, finding where the swelling is most painful around my left eye. Gingerly I apply the compress to it, a little surprised by how much it had swelled up between the fight and getting here. You were talking on the phone for over half an hour. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Cameron. So now you're mad at me? No. Because I'm just trying to fucking help. Well, it doesn't help when you're pissed off about something that you're hiding from me. I'm not pissed off. I'm stressed out and worried after what just happened to you. No, I'm fine. Getting hit in the head is never fine, Devon. Well, it is this time. Besides, I'm talking about what happened with Arturo just now. Cameron sighs mentally, loudly in my head. What, I didn't want you to talk to him so you could start treating your injuries? I'm starting to realise he's not even going to tell me what the problem is. No, but you getting mad after I considered telling Artie about our situation. Of course I got mad. I wince as Cameron's thought echoes in my head, making my headache throb even more. His next thoughts are less thunderous, under control, but still angry. Devon, I don't want people thinking you're crazy, and especially don't want anyone knowing about what you do. You could get yourself arrested or killed. I wonder if he's mainly implying that could get the both of us arrested or killed, which is, of course, worse. I don't let myself get distracted. Something's not right. Artie believes in this stuff. I mean, not this situation exactly, but he's really spiritual and believes in psychics and mediums. This is very different. It's not that big of a leap. Besides, what if you used your clairvoyance to show Artie that at least some of what I'm saying is true? And that could be a good starting point. Devon, bringing Artie into this is only going to make things way more complicated than they already are. We can trust Artie. With that mouth of his? I bristle a bit as Cameron points out Artie's uncanny knack for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. He doesn't fuck around with serious shit like this. How's he even going to help us? Like I said, it'll make things so much harder if even one person knows. I'm realising where this conversation is going, and I try to keep my thoughts under control, to keep them from wandering. Most of my thoughts are hidden from Cameron, as I intentionally project them out to him. But if they're strong enough, he picks up on them. This time, though, we both seem to be on the same page, despite not having to read minds. It's lonely, all right. Just being able to talk to someone to make things... His next thoughts are sharp and short. You just need someone to talk to. Cameron isn't asking me, just making a deadpan statement. It almost hurts with how cold he's being. Even when he gets upset or huffy, there's still a warmness to him that always makes me feel like things are okay. Well, it's gone now. I try to remember this has happened before. Cameron is always so nice and gentle after I've been through something rough like this. But this time, I keep these thoughts very quiet as I close my eyes in frustration. The aches in my body making things so much more agitating and distracting. Listen, Cam. You're just jealous because I want to hang out and be closer. Jealous? I wince again. Please, Cameron, my head. I'm scared. I'm trying to look out for you because you won't even do that for yourself. Well, that's what it felt like. I felt it when Arturo was just talking about hanging out over the weekend. Fine, maybe feel a little jealous. It kind of fucking hurts when you realise you're not enough for your boyfriend. You have to rely on some straight guy to make him feel good. What the hell? I'm angry, but also baffled just how nasty he's been. This isn't like Cameron at all. At least I don't think so. This hasn't ever come up before. Well, that straight guy lost almost everything trying to save us. Besides, I'm not into him like that at all. He's definitely not into me, you know that. And you'll be there the whole time. This conversation, what we're arguing about, it's all so surreal. Since when did Cameron say stuff like this, or even feel this way? Was this always the case? You're oversimplifying things, making me sound like a crazy, obsessive boyfriend who can justify doing things that are stupid and dangerous. Is it really that stupid and dangerous, considering everything else I'm doing? Well, I just need some fucking peace and quiet tonight, please. I think out that last part clear and loud in my mind, and I immediately regret it. Fine, I'll give you space and you can do whatever you want. Bye, Devon. Oh, come on, Cam. I'm really tired and... The silence is immediately eerie. He must have gone far into the place he usually goes when he's angry, but right now I can't feel anything from him. I wait in silence for a while, then sigh in a way that makes it sound like I'm irritated, but is mostly covering up the slowly simmering anxiety. I wonder how long it'll be before he decides to come back. No matter how much I try to pretend, though, I can't shake the feeling of deep emptiness. This is something I haven't felt in years. Not since going into those mines back in Echo almost exactly 4 years ago now. I'm alone. Wait, Cameron? Cameron, you there? The feeling of being completely alone in my head is something I haven't felt since just before I killed Brian. Cameron, can you let me know you're here at least? Just one sign and I'll leave you alone. My voice sounds hollow in the empty space. Cameron, you there? No response except the microwave. I try not to panic, instead grab a fork to prod at the bowl of mushy and appetizing vegetables, the smell overwhelmed by garlic. This isn't funny at all, Cam. Actually, it's kind of fucked up and pretty cruel too, so I didn't even do anything wrong. I wait a little while longer, knowing those words would definitely trigger Cam to come back. But when he doesn't, I finally do start to panic. After about 5 minutes, I drop the fork in the bowl and look up. Cameron, you're really scaring me right now. Could you at least let me know you're here somehow? Or anything? Empty. Because I'm going to start freaking out for real if you don't say something to me, baby. Silence. That silence seems to become tangible, blanketing me with a feeling of suffocation. Cammy? Baby? Please? Over the next 3 hours, I go from panic to anger to grief, back to panic, and then to anger and grief again. How could he do this to me right now? How could he? Well, if he doesn't want to be around me, I'm going to do the stuff he doesn't like me doing. I pull out an old bottle of bourbon and I start drinking. If Cameron saw me doing this on a mostly empty stomach, after getting hit hard in the head, he would step in, no question. But he doesn't. After waiting almost another hour, I head to bed, drunker than I've been since probably back in college. I curl into a ball, hugging Cameron's pillow tightly, silently begging him to come back. It's then that I start to process the idea he could actually be gone. Cameron never said he could just leave, and he's never done it before. Maybe he doesn't even know how to come back. Silent begging isn't enough. I mumble my coyote's name into the pillow over and over, hoping that, if he's here, he'll see how pathetic I look and come back. But he doesn't. Maybe, somehow, this isn't real, because none of this feels real. Maybe this feeling of disbelief and devastation that's been with me since Echo has all been a dream, and I'll wake up in 2020, back with Cameron in bed next to me. I'm lucky I'm so drunk, because I don't know how I deal with this sober. For now, I just cry myself to sleep. So, when's your birthday? December 21st, are you? October 18th. So I guess we don't have to worry about birthdays anytime soon. I hear a piano playing, along with the faint sounds of a radio in the background. A familiar warm feeling of the good times. Before the terrible changes. I'm standing in the doorway of one of the music classrooms. The one that Cameron likes to go to in the early evenings so he can play on the grand piano. It's interesting being in his world. I haven't spent much time outside the engineering building since finishing my general studies, but being here, looking around at all the instruments, I appreciate it all a bit more compared to the last time I was in this building, when I took Intro to Music Theory a few years ago. These are the good times, but I won't know it. Not until Echo. See? Piano is way easier for me. I thought you sounded just fine on guitar. It was his voice I really liked, though. Rough and smoky, but delivered with a smoothness that reminds me of old black and white movies. 2 weeks in, and I'm already cautiously hoping this relationship will turn into something more. Cautious because Jesus is still fresh in my mind. The relationship only lasted a few months. I wasn't ready for the rejection I didn't even see coming. It worries me a little that this canine might do the same thing. For now, though, he's smiling as he continues to play. I can see the red tinge in the skin inside his ears, making me think he's probably feeling the same way I did when I showed him the advanced math and physics classes I'm taking. But I am impressed. The coyote's innate ability to seemingly pull beautiful and catchy melodies together seems just as impossible as Cameron said my coursework looked. Where do we even start? Cameron looks up from playing. Like, just the music in general. How'd you just come up with it on the fly like that? Oh, well. Cameron scoots over as an invitation for me to sit down, and I do. Everyone's different, obviously. I guess once you really learn how music works and combine that with the music you listen to, you can just sort of... Again, his fingers play effortlessly across the keys. Something tells me my limited music library wouldn't give me the experience I would need to be able to do this. Cameron already teased me a little about listening to dad rock. He quickly showed me they also listen to some dad rock too. He listens to everything, from rock to pop to jazz to classical. He enjoys it all. It left me feeling flushed and embarrassed, even though there wasn't a good reason to feel that way. Now that I think about it, I realize I've embarrassed myself in front of Cameron quite a few times now. I'm not sure if that's a good sign or not. Maybe I'm just paying more attention to what I say and do in front of him. Artie walking in on us fucking was mortifying, no matter how I look at it. But Cameron had laughed about it afterwards. He even talks to Artie. They get along really well. And that's when Cameron suddenly stops playing, looking at the clock above the classroom door. Well, they said my song could come on any time after 5, but, they might not even end up playing it. And there's the pessimism I've come to expect. He's not bitter or upset. He's just lowering his expectations to avoid disappointment, which is kind of the opposite of how I think of things. They will. Cameron shrugs, looking unbothered. I'm not exactly sure what it is about him that's making this all feel so important. He's cute, funny, smart, and we have longer, deeper conversations than I've had with anyone else. His songs sound a little angsty, but through their dark humour, there's a lot of sadness and pain in the lyrics. When I asked him about it, he brushed it off, saying he was exaggerating in the songs. Everyone exaggerates. He's scared to tell me about his past. That makes me a little scared too. But maybe with some time, once I figure him out more. But something is telling me this is going to turn into something much more. Like this is more than just a college fling, more than just a boyfriend. It's almost like I can see the future. Well, we can, Huh? Cameron starts playing again, this time with a different but no less gentle and pretty melody. See the future. Besides, this has already happened. It's me, Devon. There's a slight laugh in his voice, one that sounds more surprised than anything. I let my mind fall back into that current, confused, traumatized and angry mindset I seem to always be in now. But you left. I felt it. I actually don't know what happened, but I didn't like it. Everything was dark and quiet. Then you were dreaming, and now I'm here. You're back with me? I think so, yeah. I sit on the bench next to Cameron, reaching out to touch him. He's solid, and through his sweatshirt I can feel his slender frame. He's real. We hug. We kiss. It's just like it used to be. How does this feel so real? Is this really a dream? A half dream, I think. This has happened a few times before, like I visited you when you were dreaming, remember? Like what happened in Echo? That was more like a nightmare. This is a good dream. Cameron continues playing on the piano. I don't know. You have this beacon-like quality about you that no one else does. I think I'll always be able to find my way back. I kiss him again. Can we not go back? I want to stay here forever. Cameron laughs. We got time. As long as we don't try to wake up too hard. Might even end up right back here again if things line up right. Well, what if we don't? Then we'll stay here as long as we can and not worry about it. I'm reminded of other qualities about the coyote that I love. The way he's often so stressed and full of anxiety, then suddenly surprises me with his durability and his bravery. Especially when it comes to helping others. I just wish he'd remember that more when it comes to himself. I relax a bit as the warm, late afternoon light continues to pour into the room, lighting up the shiny instruments and the dust motes that swirl around us. I can see that the campus grounds are empty, not bustling with the usual combination of after-class hangouts and studying. Next up we have a new song from our very own Cameron Wilson, a junior here at Pueblo. The voice is faint, almost covered up by static. Called When We Had Everything. Cameron smiles at me, and I smile back. I can remember this exact moment, the way Cameron had almost yelped with surprise and excitement at hearing his name and song come up. Instead of even listening to the song, we just made out. Man, we sure were horny back then. Back then? But Cameron doesn't say it. Or his mouth doesn't move at least, and his voice is different, maybe a little deeper. Mainly though it comes from behind me. The camera I'm looking at reacts at the same time, spinning to look back, and I do the same. In the split second I see it, I know what I'm looking at. Cameron had told me about it, how it's been following us around since Echo, how it's sort of an echo itself, one that manifested after Brian murdered him. We don't know what it wants, but it hurts my Cameron, reminds him of the pain he went through. As I look at this fake Cameron, I feel that old anger. The same strange, cold fury that blossomed in my chest after seeing what Brian had done, how it overrode the shock and incoming grief just long enough for me to finish the old bear. I feel my teeth draw back in the feral snarl, warning this echo back, and he reacts by looking at me with fear and sadness. For some reason, that only makes me angrier, and I take in everything that makes this coyote so different from the one I know so well. There's a glazed look in its eyes, like it just woke up, and its build is all wrong, thicker and pudgier than Cameron had ever been. No, this is some warped, sick creation. It's not even alive. I know it can still hurt us. It's too late though, as I hear a strange gurgling hiss next to me. I look. When Brian shot Cameron in the face, half of it had been blown away, splattering the walls of the cave and filling it with a smell that I'll never forget. Even now it fills my nostrils, and I just sit there shaking and staring at Cameron, seeing his wide, twitching eye, like he's alive and feeling. But now I get to see him in agonizing detail without the blood and gore covering the rest of him up. Now I wonder if he was somehow alive and feeling the pain in the seconds after the shotgun blast, when I couldn't see any part of his face clearly. Stop! I yell at the echo, at the dream, at anything to make it stop. I reach out my right paw for Cameron's trembling shoulder, scared to touch him because I'm worried I'll make the pain worse. Even now, in this dream world, I can see the scars just visible through the fur on my right forearm, where Cameron's jaw and teeth have been embedded. They'd had to be surgically removed, and all I can really remember is asking a nurse if I could keep his teeth when they'd been taken out. I didn't know what I'd have left of Cameron then, even though he's already talking to me, trying to keep me calm. He's not real, Devon. I lash out in the direction of the echo, and I feel my fist hit something soft. I hear a gasp, and suddenly I'm back in bed, feeling beginnings of a pounding, awful hangover. I don't pay any attention to it right now. Cameron, baby, you there? Please. I'm here. Don't worry. Oh, thank God. Hey, okay? What the hell did he do to you? I don't know. I'm okay now, okay? I won't leave like that ever again. Are you in pain? Not anymore. Actually, yeah, I am. What the hell? How much did you drink? I laugh out of relief and happiness, but mostly relief, just glad my coyote is back. Babe, I thought I fucking lost you. I'll be here as long as I can, Devon. I'll help you find those echoes if that's what you really want. Now get up and get hydrated and try to eat something, please. Of course, honey, of course. I get out of bed, the aches and pains from all the things that happened to me over the past day forgotten. I chat with Cams and make myself something a little heartier, drinking a bottle of water along the way. Cameron is back to his old self, and I realise that's all I want. No matter how much those echoes tried to torment and hurt us, we're still together. Echo couldn't change that then, and I sure as hell won't let it change that now.